All right, guys, Warrior Junior here. So, I was thinking about a couple things, and I don't think I can pull it up on my phone. It's like what I do now. It's like when I walk around, I do my walks at night or whenever. Mostly at night, what I'll do is I'll take my phone with me, and I'll turn the video thing on and I walk. I don't care about the resolution. It's hard. It's at night. I can't get the lighting, and I don't want bright light on, but it records my thoughts. Things that come to me that I feel that are very important, relevant to the goal of why I created this channel. It's really important. See if you notice, like a lot of my demeanor is very serious. It's very serious, but look, I do throw in a little bit of what I call a little bit of fun and a little bit of humor, relating Star Wars to being a warrior, how that relates to real life. So it's like I think that's important. It's important. You have a little bit of, you know. See, the thing is, because if you just say, "Oh, this dude is just intense 24/7," when he's not, and he's whatever he is, he's intense warrior all the time. You kind of are not understanding the importance of why I do this. What I tend, how I tend to mature as a person and grow. And that's the ultimate goal is to, and of course, the ultimate goal is to get what you want, whatever it is out of life. While you're here, but there's a right way to do it. It's like think about this. Like if you want to make $1 million, you go and do something. I don't even have to tell you. Dumb things that people try to do to make that kind of money. Or you could set up like a plan and say, okay, well, how can I get to that first 10,000? How can I work that until like my first 30, 40,000, and just, find, okay, if that doesn't work, let's try to like create leverage this way. Or just start thinking, start looking at examples, but not just one way. It's like, hey, you know what? I got an idea for this. Okay, that's one thing. Hey, you know what? I can get money from this. That's another thing. Hey, I really like this. I could do this. Like, I tell people, but a lot of people won't do this. Sit down with a look. I'll show you. I got one of these. It's illegal. With a pen. And this pad or whatever. You turn off the fucking phone. Turn off the TV. Turn off everything, and just sit there. Sit there and just write down whatever some things that's going on in your mind. Think. Now this is not going to be easy. It could take like 3 hours or more or whatever. Just forget about everything and say, okay, well, this is what I want to try to become. I want to work on this. You can't go back. You're here and you can go forward. And that's the problem. Is like a lot of people, they just won't. They don't. I don't have time. I don't have. Well, you need time for it. You know, time to waste. Now I got to admit, look, even myself, I was telling you, I'd stand outside these nightclubs. It's like you're thinking you're wasting your time. I don't like it. I don't like standing. I like moving the body all the time. I don't like standing around. And I didn't last night. After I went to the market, I went home. I says, I got to focus on some things here. I got some, I want to pay down all my credit cards and everything. So I said, what? I could lower some prices on some of these comic books I got online. I said, they really don't mean nothing to me, even though what I spent, a long time ago, but they're just sitting there. I don't want them. And I sold one. It wasn't that much, a couple $100, but that's still something, I took action. I took action. So I don't want to get off topic. So let's stick with the narrative. What's important. Ultimate Warrior talked about when he was like graduating high school. He's from like Indiana, some I don't know what town. It wasn't a major city there or something. And he got to see like this counselor, or something. I think it was during before the summer started, or maybe he was getting ready to graduate, or maybe last semester before something, whatever. And he like kind of didn't know what to do with his life. He didn't have a mentor or anything like that. He went to this counselor, and he said, what can I do? What do you think I should do? This woman, this counselor, was just a wrong person at all. What she goes, you know, best advice I can give you is, there's this factory, and during the summer, they hire a lot of students, and you know, If you don't know what to do, just go get a job there. That's it. And he's sitting there going, okay, that's the best advice you can give me. Like that's it. Instead of like trying to figure out like, hey, what are you interested in? Like, where do you think your strengths lie? I don't know, something hard to say. Something. What are you passionate about? What are you thinking? You know, like a counselor could get into their mind, see like possibly get them to open up about what's going on with the student, like what's their wrong person. Just go get a job. And just nothing, talked about that story, and he knew that wasn't the thing. It wasn't his calling. He just said he had to get out of there. In the end, leave there. He said it's like gloomy. There's like it doesn't not a lot of sunshine there for whatever reason. It's always kind of like overcast. So it's like gray, overcast all the time. Kind of like a depressing place if you think about it. I got to go like where there's sunshine. Moved like southwest. I mean, first I think he was originally from like parts of Georgia or something, but he went to school like he said he dreamed of becoming a chiropractor. Interest in that. After like he got into like bodybuilding, he said, "Hey, it's like Franco Colombo. That's what he did." He knew after Olympics. He didn't think for very long. He told Arnold, he goes, "I'm gonna be a doctor of chiropractic." Like he just knew. Went to school, got his degree. I don't care what it is. It's a doctor of chiropractic. It's not like a massage therapist or something like that. I mean, these guys know everything, how everything works, how everything cracks. I mean, it's not that easy to be calm. It takes a lot of work, a lot of hours, dedication, and focus to get that. But Columbu did it, and Jim Hellwig, whatever his name is on the way. And he said, "Well, you know what though? I'm still kind of young, like this idea of this fighter's warrior, big, like this performing thing. Like it just came kind of naturally to him, not just because he's big, but in his character. Like there's you have to have that. Now, when you say, "Oh, you got to be a character," it's not what people think. You just dress up like some, like whatever, and go out there and just go like this. You don't understand. Go listen. Go listen to some of the audio, like when he's talking. Who can do that? Okay? It's called having like the total package, as a performer, a character. There's plenty of guys that are big. There's plenty of guys that can talk. There's plenty of guys that can perform. But there's not plenty of guys that do all three and more. I really want to talk about that one. One of my favorite wrestlers, is a forgotten, it's a forgotten topic and forbidden subject. Doesn't matter. Took him. I don't even want to go there. But anyway, more back to the Ultimate Warrior. That's why he was on his way to becoming a chiropractor, but it was better. Like he saw, it could always go to school to do that. The performing, that's a short-lived. Well, when I say short-lived, it's something you just can't do. You can't do anything forever, but you're not gonna be around forever. You're gonna be around for a certain period of time. I mean, you just notice like these filmmakers. To me, it's like when they were young. When I mean young, I'm saying they're like 20s, mid-20s. They're coming up. Lucas, Spielberg started it like that. Come on, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars, the first one. I mean, all the vision of these people like that. They were not fucking around. They were not fucking around. It's just a combination of timing. America was coming out of Vietnam. You needed to, so you need to like make things exciting, bring it back, and the people went out. Like, it's like a resurgence in the country. I'm hoping now that we're like getting to the end of COVID that it's going to be a similar, kind of thing. Everything's going to come back. My friend says, we come back better than bigger and better than ever. You see, after World War II, we had the baby boom, the opportunities, everything started flowing and everything like that. And I'm hoping that we do something like that. The title of the that I put, the ESB relation. No, Empire Strikes Back. I relate a lot of things to Star Wars and Star Trek, whatever. I relate things to everything. But I thought about this. It was interesting. Between like Luke and Yoda, and of course we all know the movies. What happens? But some things kind of like jump out at me. In A New Hope, we see like he's just he's like a noob, Luke. He's I got to get back to I got I got to get I got to bring the power converters to the thing station. I don't have time. Obi-Wan knows. Can't open up the whole thing and because then you have no story. You have no story. And I guarantee you Lucas knew too. You just don't know. He's that far ahead of you. He didn't know the Darth Vader. He knew everything and everything. Okay, that's why they call it Episode 4. He knew everything of everything. Okay, sure, maybe the whole script from around, but the whole story was there. And there's giveaways, but it's extreme. You're not going to be able if you were in 1977. First off, it's in the theater. Can't go back. The only way you could see it again was to go back in the theater and watch the second time. Until it was released on beta or tapes back like years later. I think the tapes started coming out late 70s, in 82 or something, 83. I know that for sure. But if you watch very, very, very carefully the scene with Obi-Wan and Luke in Obi-Wan's hut, and he asks him, he goes, how did my father die? And he explains to him, he goes, your father, who was a pupil of mine, he was great, the whole thing. And he goes, he betrayed and murdered your father. Like the way, the legal is there. He knows, they know where the story's going. He's the greatest dark side in the galaxy. Before the dark side, the whole thing. He knows exactly what the whole thing is. But here's the thing. You can't figure that out because you're brand new here. It's his first time seeing this movie. You could see that movie 10 times back then. You don't know how the whole thing's gonna develop because it had a beginning, middle, and end. Doesn't get in to the complications of the the real what the movie is. The whole 3 movies. It's not really about Luke Skywalker. It's the redemption of Anakin Skywalker is what it is. It takes 3 movies to tell that. But he knew, Obi-Wan knew. Took him in, trained him. And he was like, nah, I gotta get back. And he goes back and his Uncle Owen, Emperor, is gone, dead. And he didn't, it sinks in. He goes, there's nothing for me here. He didn't have a choice. Like the destiny was pulling him that way. He did not have a choice. He knew. And he didn't know how to do anything anyway. But he knew he had to do something. And he knew somebody could teach him. And that's the whole thing. It all starts. The cantina scene and everything. And then he sees. You don't need to see his identification. You don't need to say, how do you do that? You thought we were dead. He starts to learn, starts to understand. There's something you can do. There's a power here. Forget about, the problem is you're gonna equate this to science fiction and nonsense instead of understanding the point of this. Is anything. There's somebody that can help you out there. There's a mentor in anything, business or anything, whatever. Martial arts, you might be able to, with online stuff, with me, because I was a former dancer, movement is easy and automatic for me. I'm watching these things, I'm understanding, I'm listening to guys on YouTube. I'm just being blown away by watching these masters, how they teach what's possible here. Most people can't control their own bodies. They can just barely walk or something like that. And then you see these incredible gymnasts doing these crazy things and, these incredible things. Yeah. You know what your body is capable of with just a little bit of serious training? Like this glob of clay you can mold. It doesn't matter what age it is. Older people, like I was on America's Got Talent, some Latina woman, she comes out in a bikini. She's like 70 years old. She didn't do anything really except do a little posing. It was like 70-something years old. And you got like mad respect for it. She got into bodybuilding in her late 50s. She's not like crazy huge or anything like that, but just incredibly fit. Incredibly fit. Back to Star Wars, the relative point. What happens is we know Obi-Wan dies. Darth Vader kills him in front of him. Because Obi-Wan knows it's already done. Like I already fulfilled my life's mission. There's no need for me anymore. There's no need. He knew he's going there. I don't need. It's him now. It's about him. He's the one that's supposed to, take on Vader or whatever. That's why he lost. He couldn't figure that out. He can't. There's not enough information. But then, in the beginning of Empire, starts to sink in a little bit. You will go to the Dagobah system. There you will learn from Yoda, the Jedi Master who instructed me. Yoda, Dagobah system. Starts to understand, though. There's a power out there. But I skipped over something kind of important, and that's what I wanted to mention. The Wampa scene. You don't really think about it too much because it's not that important. But it's very important. It's out there, right? On a ice thing, on hot. These giant fucking whatever abominable snowman, whatever the Wampa thing, he pulls him out, you see his leg going, and pulls him into the Wampa's lair, this little cave, hangs him upside down, I guess for it's going to be a meal, the Wampa's got to eat. It's nothing personal, but the Wampa is like just, in the special edition, we find that out because you see there's a scene where it shows the Wampa eating. So we know, but in the original one, you can only do so much. 1980, it was just starting to come into certain types of special effects. And the more shit you put in there, you got to try to, make this thing as believable as possible. It's like if you write a movie script, you have to be careful because and the squirrel is running across the field there as two people are talking. Well, you got to get a squirrel to do the scene. You have to think when you write something, you have to film that. Whatever. But a filmmaker is gonna, we're gonna get a professional trained squirrel to run across the field as, you know, the two people. You have to think these things through. So the problem is, you know, even back then, 1980, you're just coming into like, you know, stop motion photography with like CGI and stuff like that. So, you know, it could only do so much. The whole idea is just keep the story moving forward. Okay, and I'm going to explain how this relates to being a warrior. That's why I put it in a title, because it's really important. So as we see, Luke's hanging upside down, and Wampa's eating something over there in the special edition. But it doesn't matter. It's still, he's not. And you hear like the sound of the Wampa's coming. Like he's still a good distance away, but he's Luke's going to be the dinner or whatever. And Luke looks, and this lightsaber is inside of, like, stuck in, not really like ice, but inside of snow, like, well, lodged in there about halfway or so. And he's like, can you reach out for it, you know? Can't reach it, you know? Trying to use the force a little bit, nothing. And then he goes inside of himself. It kind of looked like he was like rolled his eyes up, he's upside down. It's like, you know, he knew, like, I can get this thing. I have to really focus. I can get that lightsaber. So get me out of it. Get me out of this fucking thing. And he reaches out to it. The Wampa's coming. The lightsaber starts to dislodge, little by little. He's moving it, you know. And before you know it, the Wampa's there, like, you know, and you just see the Wampa coming in. The lightsaber comes back to his hand, and Luke uses it and chops the Wampa's arm off. Now in a special edition, you know, you know, the Wampa's like, the arm's gone, you know, he's like, he's like, can't, it's, you know, the Wampa is, and then Luke looks at him and gets the fuck out of there. So what's your point? I want you to think now for a second. You give yourself 30 seconds. Pause this, you know. This goes live, but you know, but you know, I leave this thing up there, so I want you to think about this for a second. It's really important. What's the point? The point is, he could have killed the Wampa, but he didn't. That's the point. Why didn't he kill the Wampa? Isn't that like what a warrior does? Like in what you're talking about, being like a Roman, I said this in 300. This is where they die. You know, like I make those references to like 300. In that circumstance, yes. Not in that one. It's a single adversary that it's a beast, the Wampa, a big creature. It doesn't need to die, but it needed to be incapacitated. When you learn how to defend yourself, when you learn how to fight, you might have to break somebody's arm. Or sprain it. That's how you incapacitate somebody. You don't have to kill them. When someone goes to strike you or something, and you can get that lock twist from behind, you put a lot of pressure so they go down on their knees. If they don't, then you break. or sprained severely. And they can't do anything. They're not going to use their arm, believe me. When you feel like your elbow is going to come out of, or your shoulder thing is going to come out of your socket, it's not. I don't care. A person is not a hungry lion. They're going to fight. No, they're not. It's not the movies. I'm sorry. The reality is they are going to cry and beg for you to let go. That's reality, and that's what Luke did. But we're talking about like a creature, not a human being. It had to be, you know, incapacitated somehow, or else it would have killed him. Just think about that. If somebody's trying to hurt you. One other thing. I was at the market tonight, and I find, and also like in the gym, similar story, there's similar relationships to these things. They play music. And I notice the type of music they're playing in the market, in the gym. One knows you have to listen, it's playing. Now they say that music can be used to change the way that people act, their emotions. You play more intense music, you're going to be more intense. The calmer music, people have a subliminal way that they're going to be calm. I remember it was a couple days ago, and the market closed at midnight. It used to close at 2. Now, where the market is located, it's out of the action of West Hollywood, so a lot of the gays and these people, like, they go get their alcohol before 2 o'clock. Now it's like before 12, but the market closes early, I guess, for that reason, to keep the wildness from happening. Yes, I don't know. But what I do know is I remember the music that was playing when I was in there. And I know they do it intentionally. It's a real calm song. Tom Petty, Free Falling. I don't know if that, but I know the song. Yeah, I'm free falling. It's like a calm kind of thing. I know why they were playing that. And at that time, it's to bring down the intensity level when people go in the market. That nobody thinks about that thing, but I do. Then last night was another song that I heard in there. This song kind of bothered me. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I don't know if it was Tears for Fears, whatever. But it was a song. Let me try to see if it comes to me. Okay. Something cry for yesterday. It's an ordinary world, and I will try to survive. And if I can't find a way to this ordinary, something along, try to sing it in that tone of the song. Very kind of calm song, of course. But that's not what bothered me. What bothered me was what the lyrics, what they were saying. Like it's a song about somebody trying to fit into an ordinary world and just trying to survive. Like that's the best they can do. I just find and make my way in the order. I just want to be like an average in the ordinary world. I'm gonna try to survive. It's like saying like I'm gonna try just to be an average. I'm gonna try to do nothing. I'm saying to myself, in this in my mind when I was bothering me when I was walking home with my groceries, and I'm singing the song, I'm saying it to myself, and I go, this is total bullshit. Not just because it's a calm, whatever, but it's like these people like you, and so when the average person will hear that, they might be thinking this, yeah, that's a great song. The message, I will just barely. I want to be an average nothing. I don't want to. That means I'll try to survive. Like you're not gonna try. A warrior doesn't barely try to survive. A warrior is there to like to conquer, to conquer his goals, his dreams. To like in the 21st century, like what I'm talking about. Not try to survive. Surviving implies that you survived like a concentration camp or something like that. That's surviving. You had no choice. Those people that were in there, they couldn't leave. They were in those camps. They were imprisoned. Like so, you play that song, a modern day song, like that modern day. Maybe in the 80s it came out. I don't know. This is not a concentration camp. These people are free. It's America. Like a chance to become something. I will try to survive like nothing. Like it just kind of got to me. It bothered me. And they play this, and people listen to it, and they probably believe it. And what happens? It infects this. I'll try to survive if I can. Like it's saying I can't become nothing. They're like I can't. I'm gonna barely try to survive. Like I get the what? God, sorry. It just bothered me. Like didn't show it in the thing, but I was walking home and I was saying to myself, like, thank goodness I don't think like that. Survive. You survive, like if whatever, like you have no food or water or something. That's about surviving. It's like you have no choice. Like you're on a desert island or something. You're like, I'm gonna survive here. You're like, well, I'm gonna live. I gotta be able to figure out how to stay alive. It's not but like this the way that song, it sounds so like just pussy. Like I can't. I'm not. I hope to survive. Like it's a nothing. It's a wimp. Like you're not. That's not a warrior. That's nothing. That's not like. And when I say like a warrior, I'm talking about like these people like that were inventors, and things, and people that stuck their neck out there in life through tremendous ridicule. Elon Musk, Thomas Edison, the people that said, think about this. You know how many inventions, and maybe people are a little more smarter now, but let's just go back to, stuff that people were trying to work on for years. And they had everybody just be like, the fuck are you what are you, crazy? What do you kind of come up with? Nobody's going to use that. Edison's first invention was a voting machine. And everybody's like, we don't need that. We're not going to use that. It was a disaster. Think. I'm almost sure, that was that. People didn't cheer, I don't, more like most people, they were like, like not cheering you on, like, or giving you, like, pushing wind into your sails, to go forward. Yeah. No. No, the average person, the average person has an average thinking capacity. And they go along with the average society, like everybody else does. For the most part, there are exceptions. But if the most people say like this, guess what? It's this. It takes kind of like somebody special to huh. That's something kind of special. It's like kind of unique. Then it takes something like pretty, like really rare for somebody like this to go, get it. That's because now I'm going to lead into Shark Tank. My friends, you have to not be fooled so easily. Okay? I have this friend of mine, he talks about that show all the time. And I try to explain to him, do you understand something? What you're watching is a television show. No, 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 the real these people, businesses and everything. The problem is most people talk too much and don't listen. People's intelligence is not, that of a monkey or gorilla or something like that, okay? But they can still be fooled fairly easily. That's why the shows have to be a little more creative. And that's why they came up with that show. You have 3 or 4 powerful people. Of course, you've all seen the show. People come on that show with their concepts, business proposals, things that kind of got started, that's going. They want investors. They need money to to really go fast and go forward. And you think that's real. You believe everything you see. You're going to take an idea, like let's say you have either something you're just starting out, and you're going to give a percentage of something that you created, possibly can make you a lot of money. These people you don't even know, because they tell you they're going to give you money to get started like that, quick. You think that's the way it works? Can't you have 0 credit or nothing. Do you think that's the way it worked in real life? Like when people came up with ideas like Coca-Cola or whatever? Or you think it took them years and years of testing this out in the markets and stuff until somebody took notice? And then possibly, worked some type of deal. You think it's done in a half an hour show? This never ceases to amaze me, Like, someone's going to give you $50,000, like I say, they just show you like these numbers and they say, oh, yeah, sure, here you go. Here's 50 grand, whatever you need, or more, or less, or somewhere around there for a piece of it. Yeah, I don't have to. It's amazing. It really is. When people fall for, it's like nobody likes to be called a fool, but, you really are, because you believe all this. And people believe it because they continue to watch. That's how these shows stay on the air. Through advertisers. You just don't get it. You don't get it. Those people that are there, those judges, or whatever, not sorry, judges. I'm thinking of television shows. They know that those investors think they're just there to hope to find an idea or something. You don't think they're getting paid to be there? You don't think that helps their image promoting their own businesses and stuff? They don't talk about that. Of course not. They're not going to tell you the truth because that's none of your business. You want to find that out, you got to do something that most people are not going to do. And that's called research. And you're not going to do that because you're like most people. Or are you? I don't know. I hope you're not. I hope by listening to like, these ideas and stuff that I talk about, that you kind of are starting to the like Luke, the force is starting to come in you in a way. You're starting to understand that you go along and just like everybody else, you just all you'll ever be, you'll be nothing. You're controlled like everybody else, watching these stupid shows, mindless entertainment. There's absolutely nothing to move you forward. I go to the gym almost every day at night, whenever. I got into like learning about, the self-defense thing. And every time I go in there, I'm improving. And I'm not improving in the way that most people think what improvement is. Oh, you're punching harder than you did yesterday? Maybe a little bit. But I break everything down into a science. Everything. I want to know how everything works and flows. I want to work on my balance. I want to work on my flexibility. I want to work on my posture, when I'm doing things. Every time. And I can guarantee you, you go in any gym, most of these average gyms, you're going to see the same people doing the same thing every day for years and years and years and years and years, making no progress, very little progress, very little gains, or whatever. They're just there to pass time. I guess it's better than just sitting around doing nothing, I guess. Yeah, you are being active. You are going someplace to the gym, and for an hour or whatever, doing something. So I guess, like, you know, you say instead of going like just backwards that far, you're kind of just, you know, let's say like really succeed getting everything you want out of life is like right here. I'll get my hand in it and just like life just doing nothing, being nothing, whatever. It's like right here. So the people like going to the gym are like about right here. Just this is the middle, and they're like right here. It's like it's wasting time, kind of, in my mind. If you're not like trying to be like right here, you're just wasting a shitload of time, energy, and stuff, nothing. Just going along with society like most of these people are. When I go to the gym in the morning, when I go in there whenever, it's like none of these people. I don't care. They're kind of like what they are. They're like docile meteors. Like remember I talked about what a meteor is when I go out there. It's just at night, trying to meet women and everything like that. And all these guys and whatever, and they're all like the meteors are just going everywhere. There's nothing. Well, you go in the gym in the morning, they're like docile meteors, is what they are. Morning, yeah, yeah. Docile meteors, not there to accomplish really anything. It's like you ever see that thing, the pedestal, and they put the clay on it, and a real sculptor, whatever they use things and they'll like mold it, whatever. Or let's say just whatever, an artist like really working like to make something, sculpt something. Really, the more effort you put into like chiseling out and sculpting things, the more detail there is to it. And it takes real effort and work. It's hard. But it's not that hard for somebody that's passionate about it. Most people, they've got no passion for that, for anything, I don't think. It's like those relatively few people in life that have some type of passion, Most people call it, you're crazy, is what it is. That's what it is. Society, it's like you got all of this society on you. You're crazy. You know, everybody. It's like, get back, man. First Rocky, remember? Walks out of the apartment like the first time he starts training, starts jogging. It's like dark out. It's like 3 in the morning, 3 to 4, something like that. After like an hour, then the sun starts coming up and the people are coming out, and stuff. Maybe getting ready to go to work, and they see this guy. He's running by. He's going somewhere. He's training for something. And then in the last Rocky, there's a scene I'll never forget. There's a homeless guy just sitting there like this. It's all everything's going on in the world, and this guy's just sitting there like this, like as Rocky's taking the vegetables and throwing it in the back of his truck. Remember, and he slams the door. He's got a restaurant to run. He's got something to do. Not boxing anymore, even though he did at the end. But you see that guy sitting there, or like some of these people in the bars. I used to be one of those. And it's easy to do. It's easy to sit there and time to pass you by. You just don't realize it. They make those places comfortable for a reason. Places to talk about your past. Like you're dead or something. Think about that. Think about, okay, let's say, you're not here anymore, right? But there is something after life, right? And somehow you get to talk about your life, like what you did in your whole life. You talk about the things you did. That's it. Some of these people that will go to these bars, like sit there all day and drink. They would just talk about the past. Yeah, I remember I was in the Air Force. Yeah, I remember I was in the Navy. I remember. Guys are like maybe 60 years old talking about when they were 25, like it's still there, like it's still going on. Doing it because they're dead inside. They're living and breathing, but it's over. There's nothing to look forward to, in a way. They're just passing time until they pass on. Physically, I used to be one of those people. I remember this older guy in there one time got really mad one time with me. Said, what are you doing here? What are you doing? He got like, because he was old, I don't know. He saw I could do better, like, I want to turn into him. It took me a long time to stop doing that in life. Long time. Yep. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the gym and get on it. I saw some really cool videos of different Tai Chi kind of things, movements. I'm gonna work on some flexibility. If you've done too much, like really punching the bag or working on let shit heal. And once it's fucking healed, fucking use the fuck out of it. Use your body. Make it like into a sculpted thing. I don't like equating like reality to movies that much. I mean, when I talk about the old Bruce Lee, I watched a little bit of Enter the Dragon. The fight choreography and thing. He's great. He's great. But that's like that's not why I do this. Still a movie. That's the wrong reason for me to get into something. Because of something I saw on television and movies and stuff. Oh, look at that great fighter. I want to be like him. Wrong thing. Especially fighting. That's self-preservation we're talking about. After, if you go back and listen to some of my things, you know what I went through. But it's great to learn fluidity, and how your body works. Everything. Become a master of your body, of everything. Why not? Every day you could be learning. Every day. Working on something. Why not? I challenge it when I told you about, this subconscious, I think that music they're playing. I think about those things. Because there's very, very powerful people that know all this too. They make it that way. Because you don't have time to think about it. And that's being dangerous. That's a dangerous person. Somebody that is aware of what's going on, that's dangerous. But it's good because then you're informed. You're not just following everybody or doing the same thing like everybody else. Now it comes with it. People are going to notice that sometimes when you're an anomaly. Consider being an outlier. An outlier is weird. So you have like, the average, and then there's the outliers toward the lower end of the spectrum. Let's say you're homeless people, like in Skid Row, that live in tents. I don't know how many people there are in LA County. 30 million, whatever. And there's all those tents there. Those are the outliers on the lower end of the social status spectrum. Then you have the outliers on the other side up. You have your billionaires, which there's not that many of. So it's good to be an outlier, but on the higher social status thing. Now you don't have to be a billionaire. But I'm talking about when I say the higher social status, I'm talking about the innovators of everything, people like the creators. I'll mention this one thing before I go. I don't know where I got this from, but they said there's like 3 categories like of people. The lowest level of people are the ones that just gossip. They talk about other people. The second one up from that are the people that discuss current events, what's going on in the world, like, hey, what's going on and everything. So they're better than the people that gossip. They're talking about what's going on, like, And then you have the top level of people that are the inventors, the creators of things. And they don't do any of those things down there. They don't have time for it. They're too busy creating. That's the top. I want you to think, where do you fit? Where do you fit on those 3? It's interesting, isn't it? What's the last thing like you created or innovated or challenged yourself to do? Anything, or contributed possibly to society in a way that could change the world. Almost nobody's done that. That's why these people are who they are. Think about it. While you're still here, you have a chance to make a difference. Even a great and a good actor provides something of value that could inspire somebody. You don't have to be, an inventor, something like that. something that somebody could thank you for one day. A great musician or something, anything. I'm just talking entertainment, but I think there's a million things, but most people won't. That's why most people are most people. They will not, for whatever reason, they were not instilled with the, that the thing, whatever, what happened, maybe when they were a kid, that you could be whatever you want to be. You're told that, and then you start to get a little bit older, it goes away. What happened? Where'd it go? Society started to step in and tell you that you can't do it. No, it's not practical and realistic. Just like that counselor who told that to the ultimate warrior in high school. Said, no, 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 you got to calm down. You can't. No, come on, you can come down to reality. You got a job there at a factory or something like that. That's what people do. You, I could do something better. Interesting. I'm off to the gym, folks. Off to try to do something